Welcome to Quilting with Mary Beth and Donna. Today we're just having some fun while we're on our quilting retreat, and we will be talking to Amy Senatore, the owner of City's Edge Quilt Shop in Warsaw, Missouri, the host of our quilt retreat. Hello, Mary Beth.
Hello, Donna.
How's it going?
Great. How about with you?
I'm doing excellent. We're in the same room today.
That's so weird.
The lag is much, much better.
Yes.
We are at a quilt retreat in, I guess the official town is Lincoln, Missouri. It is Heights Point Lutheran Camp, and it's a quilt retreat associated with City's Edge Quilt Shop in Warsaw.
Right.
Mary Beth is the mascot.
I feel like I always am.
I know.
What's the deal with that?
That's your job.
Okay.
So, what have you been up to?
Well, things are exciting at my house with the quilt studio happening. So they're working on it today as we speak, putting up the concrete forms to do the concrete next week. So the floors will go in next week, and then the walls will start coming up. And then I'll have my official quilt studio. Yay!
Are the walls from the same place you got all the other walls?
Yeah, it'll be, like our house is stick built. So 2x4, 2x6 walls, I think is what it is. And then it's a house, I guess is what you call them, barnuminium, whatever. So yeah, we have this edition will look just like the rest of it. And I plan to have a big porch on the end so that we can sit out there and chillax before we quilt, or during or after or whatever.
What kind of so the long side is going to face basically the lake, which you really can't see.
Right. But we can eventually. He's cutting cedar trees down in the woods.
Okay.
So that, because they take up most of the visual part of the lake. So once that's all trimmed down and cut down, then we'll be able to see.
So what kind of windows and doors are you going to have on that side?
Well, I'd love to have one of those French doors or whatever on the end, but I have to deal with him too. So it'll probably just be a regular door, but big windows on
big windows.
Yeah.
At least big windows.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be inside sewing most of the time.
And it will be 10-foot walls, so that'll be good.
Height?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, yep. So
24 by 30, something like that. Is that what you said it was?
24 by 30, yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the porch on the end, I told him I want one of those gabled kind that has the, what do you call it? The big timber beams going.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I'll get that, but that's what I'm shooting for. I have all these grand ideas, and then he comes along and says, not in the budget. So
were we talking about, how Sheila is going to get multiple sewing machines by saying she needs to have 2 more dogs and 2 more cats. Then she'll settle for multiple sewing machines.
Maybe that's what I should do. Okay, if I can't have the gabled roof, then I want a dog.
That's a plan. Dangity dang, that's a plan.
Yeah.
Gosh, and I'm trying to think about on this last week and what I've done, and I have not done a whole lot. I am finishing up quilts so I can come on this retreat. We mule quilts back and forth via a big suitcase that I have.
Oh.
And so I finished 2, 4, 5, 7 quilts since I've been back from Colorado that I'm going to send back with Sheila this week. So I was working on that. Had a couple of church meetings. Other than that, and that's about it.
I want to go with you when you go on your round to Colorado.
We'll do this. We'll do one of these days. We'll do that, and we'll take the truck so you don't have to get down in the little car.
Oh, that's so fun! I felt so cool in that little sporty car.
Well, Sheila said last time that that you need to come back because we had a really good time last time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you sewing on this weekend?
Well, of course, I brought 37 projects to do in 4 days.
Well, yeah, of course, that's how
I
you do it.
always do that. No, I actually brought 3 or 4, and I started with the hardest one, so that'll probably last the whole time. But it is Tim Holtz, and it's an old one. It's from 2017. I'm thinking the pattern was a freebie pattern that you could get online. I'm not sure. It's called Whirligig, and the fabric line was Eclectic Elements. So it was from 2017. I think that was probably when he first started fabric. I mean,
That's funny.
he did,
Little Timmy Holt was
yeah. Well, he went, he did do paper. I read that he did, what do you call it? Scrapbooking before,
oh, okay.
which makes sense when I
Because he
see
has all
this
those
fabrics.
writings and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So,
that.
yeah. So I think this was probably near the beginning of his fabric uh, lines. So I don't know.
Cool. And it's going well for you. I'm very
Oh, it's fun.
impressed.
Yeah, because I always, when you talk about paper piecing, people go, "Whoa, paper piecing," and they just cry and say, "Oh, it's terrible, don't do it." But as a matter of fact, I've got two waiting. I'm doing a legit kit, and I am working on this Word gig. So it's like all the paper piecing in my whole life has come at one time.
The magic jar.
Yep,
Magic jar has
yep,
won again.
yep.
That's pretty
So
funny.
here we are.
And just other projects, just new stuff or old stuff or
The ones that I brought are, I think I brought 2 block of the months that the blocks are all completed. I just need to put them all together into a quilt. So,
I have one of those. I might have to do one more block. But so I have one of those to put together also.
well, I wanted something simple here because this is such a great group of ladies and they're so fun and they all want to visit. And so I just wanted something I didn't have to think too much about. And then I started doing the paper piece. So I'm over there with my nose in this pattern, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I brought I just finished up before we came upstairs. The making the blocks for the blue onion, which is a curved piecing, and I didn't write down the name of the ruler, but it's like oval something, and it was very easy to put together. You basically take a 11 by 14 piece of fabric and you stack six on top of each other, and then you cut it, and then you turn the fabric upside down and whatever and sideways, and you cut another one and you cut another one
Oh, like an onion.
like an onion. And so there's 6 pieces. There's 5 pieces. Yeah, there's 5 pieces to each um, block. And so you sew them, you flip the fabric and you sew them back up, and they all mixed up. So I want to say there were 37 fat quarters, but that might not be right. I know there's 81 blocks, and I think you must have been able to get two blocks from each fat quarter, so that's about right. So I bought this at Lions Quilting a couple of years ago, a couple of summers ago when I was there, getting quilts or getting rid of quilts, and I loved it. There was all this beautiful blue and green batiks. It's absolutely gorgeous. If I'd have known it was 90 by 90 and it was going to take me like 100 hours to put the spots together. I think they have since redone the kit, but it's just a throw. So
So when you took that out and started working on it, I said, "Oh, didn't you make another one of these?"
same one, Mary Beth. Thanks a lot.
I'm thinking, wow, she likes this one a lot. She's making another one. Maybe this one's for me.
Yeah, this is the one I started. Last year at Kinderhook. I did a sunflower paper piecing because I'm trying to up my game. Instead of doing 40,000 easy quilts, I'm going to do
Yeah,
2,000.
challenge yourself a little
A
bit.
little bit. Save money on fabric.
Yeah.
It's not working.
When do we go to the shop?
That's right. So after I worked, the Kinderhook retreat's a week-long retreat, and I worked probably 4 days on this sunflower quilt, and then I brought this one out, and I think I think I only got the big block, so like 2 pieces out of 37 fat quarters cut out, and then I might have put one together. So I worked on it when we went on vacation last year in Lake of the Ozarks when we rented that cabin. I worked on it a little bit, and then I worked on it, I guess, one of the last retreats, and so I finally finished it up. So that's going to be nice. I don't know if I'm going to put it together here or not, but
Okay, so
have the block done.
Yeah. So let's back up just a hair because I want to talk about uh Lions. It's a great quilt shop, and I don't think we've mentioned them, have we?
Not yet. We really haven't.
Can we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lions quilting. Lions. So I used to live in Colorado, as some of you might know. Many of you might know, if anybody cares.
Are you out there?
Hello,
hello.
And Lions Quilting is a really great quilt shop that is owned by Tracy Barber, and I know all the people there. Well, most of the people there, and I quilt for Tracy. So it's a fun quilt store, and they've got just about everything. But they have a huge boutique section, and so it's in Lyons, Colorado, which is west of Longmont. It's like the entryway to the mountains going up to Estes Park. So if you're ever around, you have to go to Lyons Quilting.
Yeah.
And tell them you know me, and everybody will go, ooh.
And they won't give you a discount. But
some people love me there.
Oh.
But yeah, so I go there to deliver quilts and get quilts from people.
I'm guaranteeing you will find something that you have to have at that store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you basically have to go on with blinders to not find something you love.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other stuff that I brought, I like I said, I just finished up the blocks on that. I decided last week that I wanted to make a little patchwork curtains for my dining room now that it's has been painted and my kitchen cabinets have been painted. So I bought 2 layer cakes that I'm going to cut into 5-inch squares, and then I'm going to sew those up on point and make cute little curtains, and they're going to be adorable. I know.
They'll be adorable.
And then I have, I have the bag of, I don't have a jar, but I have a Quilt Retreat bag that has projects in it.
I keep telling you, I'm going to get you a pretty jar. My jar, for anyone that's not on Quilting with Mary Beth and haven't seen it, is a depression glass biscuit jar, cookie jar. And it's just cute.
It is cute. But it's magic because little pieces of paper come out and then quilts are made.
Projects get done.
Amazing.
I am. And someone was saying today at the retreat that they have all of their kits in boxes on shelves and they just go in and pick out one. Well, I can't do that because I pick out the easy ones, or I look at like Whirligig and say, oh, no, and go on. And so that's why it's from 2017 and I still have it. I had it cut out. I just haven't sewn it together.
Last retreat, I pulled out a bag of fabric and a pattern from, I think it was 2009, 2008 or something. I mean, literally, it was in the same bag with the receipt from the time I bought it, and I never pulled it out. So I've still got a lot of those, but
yeah.
So that was the other thing, and there's a couple of other things. Oh, I also wanted to try the rug paper plates. We take the 2.5-inch squares. You use the bias tape thing to make little bias tape, or well, you make little tape, and then I'm gonna make they look like the rugs, but they're tape, but they're paper placemats.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, and I brought a fat quarter pack to do that. So I'm going to try that too. Okay. We're going to have great fun.
To see that.
Great fun.
Yes.
So housekeeping, we don't do. House quilting we do.
Yeah. Maybe we should call it that.
Housekeeping, Mary Beth has a website. No, Mary Beth has a Facebook group that she leads, her little flock of quilters. Mm-hmm. And you can find it on Facebook as at what's it?
Quilting with Mary Beth.
Quilting with Mary Beth.
That was pretty simple. And there are some questions to answer to get you in. That way we don't have people that are trying to be snarky in there. And it's very simple questions if you're a quilter. It's not hard. So, but yeah, that's my Facebook page. And then I have a Instagram that's under Quilting with Mary Beth. And so you can join me there too if you want to. I'm trying to load pictures of quilts that I've worked on and things like that. So
And that's a good group of people. A lot of the people at the retreat are on Quilting with Mary Beth.
yeah.
They know you by where you are.
That's right.
And I also have a nobody cares, but I also have
Stop.
I also have a quilting uh Facebook page. It's for my business. It's Donna W. Smith Quilter. Very simple. If you see a big sunflower, that's the right one. Instagram is Donna W. Smith Quilter too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just want to see my quilts and not my dogs or anything else, you can look at the under in Instagram. You can do the hashtag Donna W. Smith Quilter, and there's over 100 posts, so you can look at it that way. That's who we are, and that's what we do.
There you go.
Okay, so as we've said, we were at a quilt retreat, and we were gonna talk. We have so much fun at these silly things, and everybody else has fun, and we treat each other crazy, and we eat and we sew and we sit for too long, so we hardly can stand up. And it's just a great time. So we thought we would just kind of say that this is our quilt retreat. This what we're calling this is a quilt retreat chat along. So we're going to bring some people in today and talk to them. We're going to probably try to talk to Amy, at the quilt store owner, and we're going to do some. We're just going to talk to some people and have a great time. And I decided that we're going to call this episode "What Happens at Quilt Retreat May Be Broadcast Internationally." So a little bit of difference from the what happens at Quilt Retreat stays at Quilt Retreat. So be careful what you say. We've already had one game so far. It's called "How Many Times Will Mary Beth Trim Off the Good Side of the Paper Pieced Project?"
Oh my gosh. I have so many. I think probably yesterday I did it 5 times, and I've done it twice already today.
Yeah, like right in a row. You do them like right
in a row, and then I cry, and Donna says, "Quit pressing them before you cut them."
And Mary Beth says, "Moo!" And I called her something. I don't remember what I called you.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know I was called a name today already, so
it wasn't a bad name.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So, and I thought it was funny that Amy came by yesterday and said, "I was surprised how much you talk on on the podcast, Donna. I didn't realize you talked."
I would have thought that would have been Mary Beth. That's what she said.
And see, I'm just the follower.
Right. Well, it's the quiet ones you have to watch out.
Right. If you ever see me in a quilt store and I'm talking to somebody, help.
Right. Because this is what she tells me. Don't make eye contact. I can't help it.
And we were talking about what happens at Quilt Retreat stays at Quilt Retreat. And I found a picture, I think it was from 2012, 2014, that my good friend Dina listens. Hi, Dina. That she took one Saturday night. And it was basically I'll post it somewhere so you guys can see it. But it was basically an empty, knocked over vodka bottle and like a little bit of a revealing cleavage and somebody's head on the table, and it says, "Not your grandmother's quilt retreat." It is hilarious. So I was looking for it today to show to somebody, and I remember my son. This was I think I said 2014, so he was in high school, but he was absolutely mortified that somebody. Oh, that's when I reposted it. So he was much younger than that, but he was mortified when he saw that on Facebook. I'm like, it's a joke. I wasn't even in that group that drank that vodka. I promise.
Right.
So that was funny. Then we have to talk about Sheila.
Oh yeah, because she wants us to.
she says I give her a hard time on these podcasts, but her literally had a friend come up today and said, "When are we going to go to the quilt store?"
Yeah, we were like, huh?
We weren't even invited.
What? The quilt store? Huh?
And then she tries to
And then she goes,
say it was
and
our
then
fault.
the friend said, well, if you can squeeze into my car, you're welcome to go.
You can get
Well,
in the
yeah,
back
I think
seat.
I can get in that car now. I don't even know what she drives.
I know. And it's incredible.
Yeah.
Sheila. So we're going to have a new segment called How has Sheila offended you this week?
Right.
But we love her. Usually. Oh, okay. So one of the other things that we like to do is to listen to good 1970s music.
Right.
Because that's where
The
it's at.
best. Yeah.
And today we've got the opportunity to Google the meaning of MacArthur Park.
Oh my gosh. That is the dumbest song I've ever heard in my life.
And I know I've sang it 5,000 times. And so I was kind of paying attention to something else. And and they said, they sang what
Left my cake out.
Left my cake out. And I said, what are they leaving? And Mary Beth, she goes, the cake.
And then I said, that's the dumbest song I've ever heard.
So I looked it up. And so I'm sure all of you have done this before. But I looked it up, like, what does that mean? So I'm just going to read it to you. This is from the internet. It says,
it has to be true.
What does cake left out of the rain mean? So it was about a relationship melting in the rain. The songwriter referring to the line about losing something because someone is not taking care of things. So this is a different definition than I read earlier.
Oh, yeah.
But the first one was talking about it was a park wedding of an ex-girlfriend or something like that. So, that's the kind of stuff that comes up at Quilt Retreat.
Right. Really deep conversation.
And we have sing-alongs.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you just have to belt out a tune, like when everybody's quiet and really into what they're doing, and all of a sudden it just happens. It's like, oh my gosh, that's part of my life. I have to sing it out loud.
And then, there's some songs that really warrant a sing-along.
Right.
Like Summer Nights. Last night we all had to sing Summer Nights.
Yeah.
There will be some other ones. I'm sure when Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree comes on, we'll have to sing that.
And the Bee Gees, we'll sing those even though we don't know the words.
We'll cackle those.
I never know what they're saying.
And speaking of cackling,
sorry.
Yes.
It's that laugh. I try not to do it and then it comes out.
Yesterday, they played something. They played some song and Mary Beth goes, that reminds me of Chicken Scratch, or what was the name of that song?
No, Chicken Train.
Like, don't you know Chicken Train?
It's the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. And I just assumed everyone knew who they were and the song. And everybody's looking at me like I've lost it. And I'm like, no. So I played it. And then they looked at me like I'd lost it again.
They actually have bok-bokin in there.
I'm sure our audience knows what it is. So if you don't, go to YouTube and put in Chicken Train. It'll come up.
That's a great song. It's fun. So what else about Quilt Retreat do we want to talk about?
This is really a nice place. I can say that. It's on right on Lake of the Ozarks. So we just look out the window and watch nature happen. And I always see the eagles and no one else does. So they think I'm nuts, which is not unusual. So I handle that part well. But yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah, it is. And
they feed us. We don't have to cook. They just say, lunch is ready, dinner's ready, breakfast ready, and we are there.
I have to say, breakfast was at 9 this morning, which was stretching it just a little bit.
Well, but the way we've got this one set up, we don't do lunch. So if we eat a little bit later for breakfast, then we're not as hungry. But then they put a tray out at lunch with lunch meat and crackers.
Yeah, so you eat anyway.
What do you call them? We used to call them deli trays. Now they call them
charcuterie.
Yeah. They just try to make it harder for me to say stuff. I can say deli.
Oh, we need to hear the word, the famous word.
Rural.
That was good.
That's how I always say it, but you hear it rural or something.
Oh, it's kind of like
It's rural.
oh. No offense, but it's called Louisville. Rural,
Louisville?
rural.
Rural. Rural.
Oh,
okay.
goodness gracious. Oh well, we'll
Okay.
stop this now, and we'll bring in some other people
Okay.
to chat. This has
That'll
been
be-
fun so
can't
far.
see
Yeah, so you can't even see you.
Not in there.
All right.
So we are here at our quilt retreat. Mary Beth and I got together yesterday and talked for a few minutes about some stuff going on this
Mhm.
week.
All good stuff, I know.
Yeah, it was. I think. Well, there wasn't anything bad, was there?
No.
We just talked bad about Sheila. That's okay. No, we didn't talk bad about her. I just one story. We have before we start one story. Mary Beth is going to get a donkey, and we were discussing whether she needed a donkey barn.
And that's hard to say when you're running on low sleep.
Where are you going to get a donkey?
Oh, my neighbor, Rod's boss has donkeys, miniatures.
Oh,
So cute.
they are cute. I have
They
a
are.
customer that
Really?
raises and shows donkeys.
Oh, really?
And she lives not too.
Nice.
From
See,
She's the one
whatever
that
you
makes the
want, hook 'em
donkey
up.
stuffed animals.
Yes, they are so
See,
cute.
we're gonna hook Mary Beth up, but the
Mhm.
problem is Rod can't know that she has a donkey.
When they eat, oh, it might be a dead giveaway.
It might be when
So,
they keep their head in your window.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so.
And so
With the
Mary
cat.
Beth was saying
Yeah.
she missaid it and she called it a
You did. You called it a bonky darn.
bonky darn. No, you called it a bonky darn. And I said, oh, that's what we're going to call it. So Rod doesn't know you have a donkey barn.
Yeah.
So
It'll be a code name for my donkey barn. Bonky darn.
Bodie.
no, that's too easy. So we have with us today Amy, and I'm just totally blanking on what your last name is.
Senatore.
Senatore?
Senatore.
I
used to tell my husband, you need to run for senator. Senator. Senator.
Senator for senator.
Back to bonky darn.
So, is that his last name too?
No, he's got a different last name.
Okay.
Yeah, we just pulled him out of the air.
Yes, that's his last name. I'm sitting here going, what?
Well, I know you guys are married, but you don't have to take your husband's last name.
That's true. Okay.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Senator.
Mhm.
Anyway, we have Amy here with us.
It's Amy Senatore, if that helps you.
From
City's Edge Quilt Shop.
there we go.
I was finishing
In Warsaw, Missouri.
In Warsaw, Missouri. So, City's Edge Quilt Shop in Warsaw, Missouri. Amy Senatore, the Queen.
Yes.
Wow. I've never been called the Queen before.
But we just wanted to talk to you about your. We only let people on the podcast that
we have so many
people that we like and we respect. So,
Oh, that's
right.
so
you're our
you have
first
to
person.
fill both of those.
Yeah, well, not our first person, but first person that we can look at. Never mind. We'll just go from here.
Yeah, stay in.
So anyway, we just wanted to ask you some questions about how you got started, and because we know they don't know that you used to work for a major lumber company. Do we say the name?
Yeah.
Home Depot.
I did.
How long were you with them?
30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us. Give us the story.
Give you the story. Okay. Well, when I was a wee baby, so young. No. No, really. So
We've already determined you can't start working until you're 15. So,
Yeah.
oh, but it's Georgia.
oh, okay.
Oh.
Too funny.
And the rural. Yes.
Hold on.
Rural Georgia.
In rural Georgia. Actually, they're in Atlanta.
Somebody unplugged me. We might have to.
Oh, we have to start all
did
over
we
again.
start? Are we done?
Not yet.
Edit.
Like trying to squeeze myself into the air.
See, we're professionals.
Take a chair, and then we'll.
Get you just becoming in torment.
I was on a Zoom meeting the other night, and it was getting ready to go out. I'm like, I need to get off my chair. I don't want them to see me do it ungracefully. It was not a good scene. We lost power. Okay. So Home Depot.
Yes. Okay. So I worked for Home Depot for 30 years and at their corporate office, relocations, things like that, in the HR fields, and landed in Kansas City. And my husband and I have owned a place down at the lake for about 25 years, just short of 25 years. And we talked about retiring down here. And I said, we will never see anybody. We're hermits.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, because I seem like a very introverted person, I know. So,
Everybody's introverted next to Mary Beth.
yes, I know. There's a lot of introverted HR people.
Yeah.
But no, seriously. So we've been coming down here for a long time and we talked about retiring down here. And so when we retired, I said, I'm really not ready to retire and not see people. So retail being a little bit in my blood after 30 years, we decided that my love for fabrics and people in retail, we would open a quilt shop. So there it is.
What year did you open the shop?
We opened up in 2015. We'll be celebrating 10 years this year.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yay.
it's very exciting.
Cool. And did you do a lot of planning on figuring out where you wanted to do it and how you wanted to do it, or did you just kind of go in and say, we're in Warsaw, let's
Open a quilt store.
open a quilt store?
There used to be this little antique shop in my location right now. And every time I'd go in there, I'd say, this is my quilt shop. And my husband would laugh at me.
Yeah.
And so we ended up, it went on the market and we were able to purchase it. And it's a little over 100 years, around 1890. So we stripped it down. And there was another building there and it was a little not really well constructed, let's say. And we were trying to figure out if we should save it or not. And I said, nah, everybody wants to come in the house anyway. So we tore it down and needed the parking and decided to refurbish the house into a quilt shop. So that's what we did.
Is the sewing machine building new?
It is not. Yeah. So it had a 30 by 50 metal building garage on the property, just a few feet outside the back door. And that originally was our classroom. But as we grew, became a Janome dealership, we put all the machines out there, our repair area and long arm quilting services out there. And then, of course, with machines comes everything that comes with machines, embroidery and sewing and all that stuff. And the house was not overly large. So we have all the quilting stuff pretty much inside the shop. So all the fabrics, notions, patterns, all that good stuff. And all the embroidery stuff mostly out in the showroom area where the Janomes are.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a fun venture.
And so how did Frank get into this?
By a fishing reel and a hook. I just reeled them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we both retired at the same time. And as I was redoing the construction, he said, you're spending too much money. I need to go back to work. So he did. But then he did finally retire. And so now he's our repair technician and the chief fun officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He's very entertaining.
Where does he repair the machines?
They're right there on site.
In that second
Yeah,
building?
in that
Just right
area.
across from where the long arm is, behind the wall of embroidery stuff,
Yeah.
is Frank's still area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you go pick out thread,
Yeah,
Okay.
she was
she
in
talks
that
to him all
area
the
today.
time.
Yeah, I do. I
She
do.
goes and gets thread. Oh, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Frank, he's back there slaving away with
Yeah.
the chain on one arm,
Yeah.
going, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, he hooked into that.
Yeah, he did this. He does really good.
Yeah.
You'll never have a cleaner machine. for
Yeah,
sure.
he's very tiny.
He's very meticulous.
That's good. And he had to go off and do certification for that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
through
Through
Janome.
Where's Janome? located?
Janome America home base is up in Mahwah, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. That was the only question Mary Beth had to ask you.
Oh, and
That's
what
the
was
only
that
was
question?
that was the only question. She
No,
wanted to
so
know Frank.
no, I knew where Frank originated from. I just wanted to ask.
I know. Is that the only question that you have for Amy?
She knows
'Cause
Frank
I
very
like
well.
Frank.
She knows Frank very well. I don't even think she comes to the shop to see me anymore. She just walks out to the other building.
He
and-
cracks me up because he's always out doing something. You know, he always is doing something.
See, I don't
So,
get to see him very much because he's always gone when I'm here. Except
he was
dragging
out
stuff
one
in and
day,
dragging
like
stuff.
in the spring. He'll be out like spraying around the house for whatever, and then he'll be out not weed eating and stuff, but pruning maybe or whatever. He's always doing something around there. So
Yeah.
he's like jack of all trades, master of none. Cool.
He better be a master of something. or he's gonna be
Better move out of there.
upset.
He is the master sewing machine technician there. How about that?
There you go. What do you find the biggest challenge of owning a quilt store?
I would say truly the biggest challenge is staying on the creative edge and trying to find things that are interesting for your customers, and knowing I think that's very important to know your customers and know what they like. And that way, when you do go to shows and see stuff or you're, searching for things, you find things that you think that they'd have an interest in. But I would say that's the hardest part is trying to differentiate yourself and trying to just be on the creative edge.
Do you think it's easier or harder to do that in a smaller town atmosphere?
It's interesting. It's different than I thought it would be, being in large box retail in areas, Chicago, Atlanta,
Kansas City, yeah.
big cities, and coming down to Warsaw where it is more of a vacation area or a retirement area, and seasonal customers. I would say that is one of the bigger challenges. And, how do I differentiate myself from the shops in the bigger cities? And, what makes them want to come see me?
You have to be a destination.
Yeah, we have to be a destination spot.
So a lot of I would assume that destination spot is a lot driven online. Or
They're
do they find you and then go online, or do they?
I think I think they find me first
Yeah.
and then they go online. And I think the shop hop has really helped because the Missouri shop hop, especially because it really draw people into areas that they wouldn't normally go.
Mhm.
And I have customers at this retreat that found me during the shop hop, and they have traveled pretty far, they from Texas, and they happened to be coming through Missouri and did a few of the shops, and they decided they liked us and wanted to come back. And you have a retreat, and now it's like
That's what you do.
family reunion once a year.
And even though Warsaw is small town, in the summertime it does become
Yeah, it's
hopping.
very
You know,
hopping.
yeah. So a lot of people are here from the bigger cities, and some of them are here for weeks on end. So that brings in new customers
Mhm.
that you have to not cater to, but try to, like you were saying, try to please them and show them something different than what they see already in big cities, so that would be difficult.
Yeah. My favorite part of the shop is being in a small shop. It's more personal. It's like
Mhm.
this. You
Yeah.
greet every person like, and they treat you like,
Yeah.
like
Like
they've
what
known you forever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's really nice. And
it's your own little quilt group.
yeah, it is. Even if I've never met them before, it's,
Yeah.
but hearing somebody walk in and go, wow,
Yeah.
this is unexpected,
Yeah.
and to find out, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Chicago, or I'm from Dallas,
Yeah.
or,
Oh, that's great.
and you're like, okay.
Got another one. Got another
I
one.
made it.
And look at you now. You're on Quilting with Mary Beth
I
and Donna's
know.
podcast.
I know. I
know.
feel like a celebrity.
You are going to be
I am
having
going to
to
get
sign
autographs before I leave.
Yeah, I know. You will.
So nothings. So let me ask you another question. How do you combat or fight against burnout?
That's hard. I'm going to tell you that. You asked me what the biggest challenge was. Being on the creative edge is a big challenge. So every time you do have a day off, you're making samples, or you're perusing and looking for the next big thing, or
Or you're doing coffee with Amy.
or you're doing coffee with Amy. But that encouraged me to get into the sewing room, actually, because you end up going home and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm done.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
after long days, and you sew all day, and are you going to go home and sew all night?
Mhm.
That type of thing. So I got to where I was like a day off, and yeah, I wouldn't even walk into the sewing room.
Oh, as a
Mhm.
long armor, I totally know what you're talking about, but I don't. I don't go back to sewing. So
Yeah, so I had to so my coffee with Amy was a little bit self-serving, because I needed to force myself back in there,
and that's
because Monday's really my day off.
so that's new. Coffee with Amy, because it used to be
Yeah.
you do a Thursday. What's new in the shop is Coffee with Amy an additional thing, or
Yeah, so we do what's new in the studio, and again, we are a bit of a small shop, but we do get quite a few long, online orders, and
Mhm.
surprisingly, California, and
Really?
Oregon, and New York. So
That's
I'm like, how
cool.
do they find us? World Wide Web,
Yeah. That
right?
helps, doesn't it?
Yes,
It
it
makes the
does.
world a little
what's
smaller.
It
the senator's
does.
name?
Yes, Senatore. Oh yeah. So but anyway, so we do what's new in the studio. So if people are coming in for the weekend, or if they did want to make a special trip, they can kind of see what we have,
Oh,
as you said, a destination location. So, and as we know, filters kind of get in their car and they make their own shop hop. So
Mhm.
we like to be part of that
yeah.
lineup. So if they know what we have, sometimes they'll make a special stop. So what's new in the studio? And then we have Freaky Friday fabric sale.
Been
Mhm.
there.
Yes,
Been there,
the
done that.
Fifth
Oh,
Friday sale.
Been there about that.
But yeah, so Coffee with Amy is relatively new. Customers have been asking us to do more tutorials and more knowledge base. We have a lot of brand new quilters out there. Can you start with the basics, and
that's awesome.
and so, and again, more of a rural area. Where do
You
they?
said that so well.
There's that word.
Oh, thank you. Can you say that for yourself?
Not really.
What's your favorite fabric?
I don't know that I have a favorite.
What do they call those ones that are like all one color?
She started to say
Solids.
Very good.
Thank you.
Oh.
For all you out there, I say salad.
It
Salad.
sounds like salad to all of
Salad.
us.
Yes. So I do just love salads.
And solids.
And salad.
We like to give
I
you
have to
trouble.
force that word.
We like to give you trouble about that.
I
so
know.
it's
Wait till
fun.
bingo.
Yeah, wait till bingo or quilt
Quilt.
or whatever you want to call it.
Is
Oh,
there
gosh.
anything that you've done that you in hindsight was a bad idea? Or something that just didn't work?
Maybe sometimes, yeah. Bringing in certain fabric lines.
But you just have to test that. You don't
Yeah, you'd have
really.
to test it and
Yeah.
see, especially in the very beginning, because I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah.
my customers, so we were bringing in things. Um,
You have to be willing to get rid of it if
yes,
it
you
doesn't.
do. Thank you, Freaky Friday.
I think, and I think that's a thing that a lot of quilt shops don't do. They'll hold on to it and have it
Yeah.
out there forever because
They don't have any kind of sales or anything.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the
So
the
that's,
joy of a small shop.
yeah.
You have to
turn.
make room for the new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Do you go to market every year?
I don't. Since COVID, the market kind of stopped there for a while, and the vendors and representatives have been more online themselves,
Okay.
doing virtual shop hops, virtual education to the shop owners, showing their product lines, what's new, and what you can do with it, and how to use it. So, having those schoolhouse opportunities with your vendors online, it has been,
Wonderful, I can
yeah, really
imagine.
wonderful. And they are trying to bring some stuff back. There's H&H, and then there's their fall quilt market is still going on. I hear they're going to do spring again, but see, they haven't brought spring back since COVID. So
Oh, really, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Did you find w- what are your thoughts on your business during COVID?
I think I was very fortunate. I think a lot of the quilt shops were very fortunate in being in this industry that
That's what people were doing.
yeah, that's what
Well,
they were doing. They were doing things at home, and they were doing crafts
that's what
and
brought about new quilters.
decorating their homes. I
Yeah.
need new pillows, I need new curtains,
Mhm.
shower curtains.
Yeah.
So they were, I think across the board for everybody, sewing machine sales were up, and
Mhm.
entry level machines.
I remember one of the things I think that came out of COVID too from the people that I know is they realized they didn't have to be open 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's true.
you could have reduced hours if you needed to, and um, which I mean, it's good to know that you don't have to sit in the shop to make it happen 24 hours a day
Yeah, that's
or
true.
8, 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I think the online opportunities really skyrocketed,
Mhm.
which also is hard on brick and mortar also.
Yeah.
But we're tactile people.
And
We
Yeah.
want to
right,
touch it.
Oh, yeah.
You got to pet the fabric.
Right. You wanna know how it
exactly.
feels because I mean,
Exactly.
if it feels like plastic, you don't want it, and you gotta be able to touch it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think we're in a fortunate industry, actually.
Mhm. Well, being close to me, I appreciate you guys being there. On Mondays is usually when I need you the most, and you're not there. And I'm like, "Whoa, why did I run out of this on the weekend?"
Those are the reduced hours I was just talking
I know.
about.
Oh,
I know.
is that really hard on people, you think?
No, just me. It's just when I need it because 'cause I'm not in here like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday necessarily, sometimes.
Well, I am there a lot on Mondays, and if you ever see my
Oh, I
coffee,
know.
it's not
You
nothing.
have said that, but then I wanna not do that because it's your day off.
Okay,
Working.
do you
Yeah. Yeah.
do you keep up on everything, or do you how do you keep up on everything, or do you have people that you I know Nick has come in and is doing a little bit of the technical stuff and everything. Do you have other people that you
Delegate.
utilize to like keep up with new stuff on the sewing machine? I can imagine keeping up with sewing machines by itself as a
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I'm super fortunate. I have been ever since I opened the shop that I have great people that have worked with me, and They all are very different in personalities and tastes, and I think that's part of the wow factor of our shop. When people come in, it's unexpected because for a small shop, we're offer a lot of different things. There, it's not like all primitive or all modern.
Yeah.
It's just a little something for everybody. And I think that is the unexpected. And it's because we'll all agree to disagree sometimes
But,
on,
your staff is so friendly though, and so easy to walk in here and say, well, here's the pattern I want to use, but I have no idea about the fabric, or whatever. Or this is the piece of fabric I want to start with. And they're really good to help and just so friendly. So that helps too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're the best. And all of them pitch in. I mean, every single one of them. And we try to all, I'm never going to ask you to do something I wouldn't do myself. So,
Mhm.
We're checking the restrooms. Oh, I see this is out of stock. Every single one of them can order.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Uh-oh, Mary Beth.
Make really close friends.
No, but you know what I mean? So they see something, oh, Donna bought the last one of this. Let me put it in the cart,
Okay,
so we try to stay on top
Okay,
of
well,
that.
that's
So
good.
That's cool. Okay, so you also have your block of the month program,
Mhm.
and your block. I think I saw 5 or 6 different colorways this year. Is there 6 or 5?
There's 5 this year. There were 6 last year.
5 colorways. They are $6 a block or $6 a month
Mhm.
plus a
Postage
quarter
you have to pay.
Postage,
if you
yeah,
want to
whatever
mail,
postage.
and they're pre-cut, so they
Yes.
don't take very long to put together.
Mhm.
That's a wonderful thing. How many blocks do you think you sell a year?
I know that we sell about, or we cut about 375 a month.
Wow. Wow.
So
And where is that machine?
it's in the closet.
It's in the closet. That's where Michelle hangs out.
That's where Michelle hangs out. She's like, "Can you just make my closet a little bigger?" She's the tallest one in the group.
Yeah.
Too funny.
At least she's not in the basement.
I tried that.
So that's a great program too, because people could come in. I know that I saw last year when the shop hoppers would come in, you would you could tell the shop hoppers about your program, then they could sign up and get on that program. So that's a new customer there too.
Yeah, it evolved. We have a lot of different block of the month programs, but the one that you're specifically talking about is our pre-cut block of the month.
Okay.
And it is all done on the AccuQuilt cutter, and we draw up the patterns. There's a basic of settings that we offer with, throw, full, queen, twin, how many blocks you need, and here's the fabrics that you need. We don't necessarily put together setting kits for them, so
But they're
it's the
available. Yeah.
blocks that you
Right.
buy.
Right.
And we had LaDonna downstairs at the retreat, and she would belong to it last year, and she just now signed up for this year. And she was buying the Mix and Match book by Scott Flanagan, and it's an Annie's book, I think. And anyway, it's a great book,
I love
and I
that
think
book.
you've used
I
it.
have.
That's a
Yeah,
Scott Flanagan book?
Yeah.
yeah, it is, and it's all it has is 8 settings uh, for sampler blocks, so it fits in perfect with our pre-cut block of the month if you want something a
Right.
little
So
different.
I brought last year's.
Mm-hmm.
Is it last year's or a year before? I don't know. I brought one of them this time to work on, and I have Lois cut all my fabrics for it for one of those settings in that book.
Mm-hmm.
Then I left the book at home, but then I saw it sitting over there, and I thought, oh, I can.
Well, now you have to borrow it
Yeah,
from
I
LaDonna.
could. I'd feel better about borrowing it from her than I would getting a new one off the shelf. I wouldn't have done that, but yeah, the thought crossed my mind.
Yeah, so that was like you said, that was the pre-cut block of the month. But
Yeah.
you do other blocks of the month. And I kind of strong arm you to cut me, some kits for a pattern today. So she's very willing to do stuff for me.
Yeah, we cut kits for a lot of people. A lot of people. When I very first opened this shop, I had a associate that worked with me, and she was like, "No, people want to pick out their own fabrics." I'm like, "I'm telling you, they don't."
Right.
Some do, some don't.
I
And
used
again,
to.
it's what you're comfortable with. And new quilters don't trust themselves to do it. So that's an education, process for them. And again, destination, your husband's sitting in a car. You don't want to spend the time
Mhm.
picking out fabrics,
Right.
and you got to have something to
Right. And
grab and go.
I am totally a kit person. Because as a 20-year long armor, I know that there's a lot of kits that are sold, and there are very few that are really finished.
Well, my thing with kits when I started quilting,
So you won't have the same. You won't have the same
I
quilt
didn't
as
want a
20 other
cookie
people.
cutter quilt, and when I started, thimbleberries was a big deal.
Yeah,
So
me too.
yeah, so everywhere you looked was thimbleberry quilts, which that's fine. But I thought I don't want, 100 years from now, everybody to not want my quilt because everybody already has one like it.
And we get that all the time. Somebody will hand us a pattern. Can you make me a kit of this?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Oh,
We just did it for Cheryl. She bought that Sadie scissors.
oh yeah.
And she goes, "Okay, but I need a fabric kit." She hands me the pattern. And I said, "Okay, Lois." There's the delegation you were
Yeah.
asking.
So you just go and
Yeah.
fill it. Fill it.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, everybody loves to pet fabric. I think everybody loves to pet fabric. And I went to the store today. Well, we went to 3 quilt stores, Sheila and I, before on our way up. And I walked into each one. I walked into 2 of them and said, "I need nothing." And they kind of looked at me like, "Who's this lady?" And then
And then she walked out with something.
That's why we have the Blue Box Club for those people.
something. Well, yeah, and I don't really, I don't need anything, but it's when you go into the store. I went into your store today and I bought.
She wasn't going to go, remember?
I know. I need nothing. And I ended up with a kit, the little tulip.
Oh, did you buy the
I
little
bought the
tulip?
tulip. Yes.
Oh, it
It's
is
Jelly Roll.
super cute.
And I bought the fat quarters of the orange Tim Holtz.
Yeah.
And I bought half yards of the yellow Tim Holtz. So I need nothing.
See?
I need nothing.
All I have to do is sing that song and she'll go with me. And I told her on the way home or on the way back here that I should get a
Commission.
commission on this. That's
when I said that commission's going right to me because I paid a lot of money to go to the quilt store with you. It's all fun.
Oh, it is fun.
No, we get that a lot. I mean, you hear that a lot. I mean, I don't know outside of a beginner quilter how many of us can open a quilt shop in our own homes. I mean, truly.
Right.
So it's again, it's what can you offer that's new and different?
And last summer I went to an auction, a state auction, and this woman was a quilter, plus she made doll things. So she had doll beds and all that. Anyway, there were tubs and tubs and tubs and tubs of fabric. And I said, that won't be me. This is not going to be me. And so I do this jar thing and think that I'm really doing something. And then I go to your shop. It's going to be me.
Just keep that jar going, girl.
It's a bottomless jar.
It's a multi-generational jar.
When Judy did your 23
Uh-huh.
of 23 challenge, she was knocking them out.
I
Remember
know,
that?
yes.
And I said, I'm going to have to hire her to slow her down. So I did.
Yeah. Yeah, good plan.
Too fun.
Although she works there now, so she probably has a house full of fabric. Right.
Well, see, though, you work around it all day.
Yeah.
Right. You look at it, and then
yeah.
the longer you stay in the store, the more it works on you to buy it. Yeah.
Or not.
or not.
I don't know. They are my best customers. I tell them that all the time.
Too funny. So, okay. So we've got you here. Why don't you give us a little secret? What do you see coming up? Anything
A little
new and
secret.
innovative?
A little secret to tell the international world.
Oh, the international world. Wow. This is a challenge. Well, you all know about the Blue Box Challenge. That was pretty new for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge?
It is a challenge. Yeah. So it's a subscription box like all of them that are out there, right? But like you said, I need nothing. We hear that all the time. I've got everything that I need and I can open my own quilt shop. But what we find is that you buy all the pretties. You buy the collections of fabrics and the pre-cuts but then you put them on a shelf and they go into a tub.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So our idea with our subscription box is to give you some inspiration with some patterns, designs, a trinket, of course,
Yeah.
and the go with fabric. So you get the
Okay.
stuff that you never buy, because you go, man, I'd really like to do something with this jelly roll, but I have nothing to go with it. So I
Right.
need to go to the quilt shop.
And so
So-
it's a patterned fabric that's in there, or is it a solid?
It could be either.
Oh,
Yeah.
I noticed there
You
were
did
rulers in
well.
there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there, yes. So last quarter's challenge was the Dresden plate because I find
Uh-huh.
a lot of people don't really do even the traditional blocks. So their challenge was to do something with the Dresden plate ruler. And then
Was that the game board?
that's the game board
Okay.
that a lot of them had, but there were several things in there. So there was, again, patterns and books and, things to spur ideas. But there was a project also, and the game board was one of them. So they got some solid black navy, dark navy fabric and little game pieces as their little
Oh, fun. That's
thing.
cool.
So yeah, so
Cool.
that was that. So and this quarter it's all about the log cabin. I'm surprised at how many people have never made a log cabin
Oh, cool.
block, and it's been around since what
The log
1700s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So this one they got 3 yards of fabric and 2 creative grids rulers or
Yeah.
log cabin rulers and a book and another little book and some patterns and their challenge is to make a quilt or a project from log cabins using the colorway of the prints I gave them. So they all got like one of them might have be solid with green print, so white with green small shirting prints or something, background print. One was red, one was blue,
Oh,
and
okay.
then they have to pull from their stash to create the log cabins.
cool.
So I gave them the lights. They have to put all the rest of it together.
So over the last few months or so, I don't know how long you've been doing this,
Mhm.
but on the Facebook page, Friends
Of City's
of
Edge.
City's Edge, yeah,
Uh-huh.
people post what they've done, and so it's fun to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun because they have to post to be in the challenge. They have to post what they used out of the box, and it could be anything. They could have just used the pattern. They don't have to use the fabric. But this time, I told them they had to use the color palette that was in the fabric that I gave them. So they post what they used out of the box and their stash, and then they show the finished project.
Oh, cool.
And they get into a drawing for
Oh, really?
$25 or $15 gift certificate.
Oh, cool.
And then they usually just put it towards the next blue box.
How long do they have to do it?
It's quarterly.
Okay.
So they
got
have,
3
yeah,
days
but
worth.
I threw it out there like, subscription box, monthly, quarterly. I mean, we're at the lake.
Yeah.
Summer hits, spring hits, your grandkids come down. You're not staying in the sewing room so much. But if you could do something small every quarter, that's keeps your creative juices going.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I need some creative juices.
Yeah.
But next time.
Next time.
And then you do so far you're doing 2 retreats. We used to do 4. Now you're doing.
No, we do 2.
Okay.
And we have twice done 3, focusing one of them on machine embroidery.
Cool.
So, and doing a lot of technique classes. I mean, we would offer them. They didn't have to do it in the embroidery one, but because we sell machines, right?
Right.
So you're brand new machine embroiderer, you don't know what to do. It's like we submerge you. We'll come to the retreat. We're going to have little projects that you can do like in a half hour or 1 hour. They could work on something else during the retreat, but then they could sign up for these little sessions to learn something that maybe they didn't know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mary Beth, you need to do more embroidery.
I do. Yeah. I've taken classes and they're fun, but there's a lot more I need to learn to do. So
we would have liked to have a retreat this year.
Yeah.
A lot going on this year.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate City's Edge.
Well, I appreciate you having me on your podcast.
And we can find you at City's Edge Quilt Shop in Warsaw, Missouri.
Right.
That's like Lake of the
You are
Ozarks
in
area.
Missouri right now.
Yeah.
That's Lake of the Ozarks. So there may or may not be a drug. No, just kidding. I love that show.
What?
Ozark. You don't watch Ozark.
Oh, yeah, that was filmed in Georgia. Was even filmed here.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Lake
That's
Lanier.
a good show.
Yeah.
The only thing I learned from that show is if they're going to shoot you in the head in the very first episode, just let them do it because it's not going to get any better.
Oh, my husband he just can't even watch it. He goes, this just makes me too nervous. And it was the suitcase full of money that got him. You know, that was in the very first episode.
Frank was working down in Florida at the time when I was opening the shop in the Ozarks. Came out and they were like, really, Frank? Retiring to the Ozarks? And he's like, what are you talking about? And we finally caught on. We're like, oh, great. Yes, we are.
That's funny. Okay, and your so City's Edge, what's the website?
Oh, okay. It's citiesedgestudio.com, and that's CITYS Edge Studio, City's Edge. And we also have a YouTube and Facebook page.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now on my laptop, all I have to do is type C and it pops up first.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then the Facebook page is Friends of City.
It's City's Edge Studio also, but we have what we call a quilt show every day. And everybody posts what they're working on or what they've done. And it's called Friends of City's Edge.
Friends of City.
And then
so
we
that's
have,
in the Facebook.
It's one of my pages attached. And then there's Sew Along. That's Sew Along, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, we thank you so much for coming upstairs and talking to us.
Yeah.
The video will be out in a few minutes. No, just kidding.
Oh gosh,
The video.
they told me no video. We are at retreat now, ladies.
Yeah. So we get up and fix our hair, and then we bring you in and say, "No, there's no video."
So, but we thanks for coming and talking to us. For anybody who's listening, you know where you can find Amy and her store. And we just, like all quilters, we appreciate so much our quilt store owners because they give us life.
Right.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.